Hey guys, it's Smart Thoughts, and today I was looking at this thing, which I showed you earlier. This is the Foam Shooter Knock-off Nitefinder type thing. I don't know exactly. I'm sure it doesn't really have like a name. It's just called the Foam Shooter. But anyway, I was looking into modding it, and I figured why not make a mod guide. It's probably not something that you're gonna run into fairly often, but I did find it at Dollar General for $2 if you're interested in trying it yourself or whatever. I guess that's where you find it. I really don't know. Things like this are so hit or miss. But anyway, I was going to mod it. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up, and I'm going to show you guys what's inside. I actually have no idea. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll come back. Alright, so I've gone ahead and taken out all the screws in this blaster. There's 10 of them in total, which is quite a lot for something so small. All of them look like this. So they're very small, so they'd be easy to lose. So I recommend that you put them in something like this. Is a I think it's like a 1.5 back end coupler that I use, and I keep assorted screws in here while I mod. Just some things that you put them in so they don't roll off somewhere, because again, they're very small. They're hard to lose. Other than that, once you take the screws out, you should be able to just kind of splay it apart. Now, this blaster is actually reinforced a little bit with, not just, oops, well, that's fun. Well, as I was saying, this blaster is reinforced a little bit with not just screws, but they also have these kind of like pins that insert into holes on the other side. So it's kind of interesting that they chose to reinforce the blaster this much. There's also like assorted plastic pieces. They're just kind of like on the inside. This is actually like just plastic gunk that's stuck on the inside, because I was noticing as I was storing the darts in this little side container here, I was pulling them out, they had like lines kind of scratched into the sides. I was wondering what the heck it is. Now I know. But anyway, so this is the plunger tube. It's actually a fairly decent size for something like this. Apparently it will just pull apart like that, and this is the plunger head. It's got a cup seal, which is very unique for something like this. It looks like there's a screw that will just unscrew. This is the spring. As you can see, it's very weak. It's not strong at all. The catch doesn't look like it's too bad, so hopefully that will be reusable. And this just kind of plugs in like that. And then the trigger return spring that I had went flying somewhere, so I'll have to find that. The whole thing just sits in the blaster like so. So I'm going to go ahead and see, there's like a little bit of an AR. I don't even know if it's worth drilling out since it's so open. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's kind of like a big cross. But since it's so open, I don't even think it's worth drilling out. It acts as a nice dart stop, stuff like that. I don't know, maybe. But I'm going to see if I can't find another spring to replace this or add some extra compression or something like that, because this is just a very weak spring. And then I'll come back. Alright, so I went ahead and I opened it up. And at first, I tried just adding like an extra compression thing. Let me see if I can get it to fall out. This little plastic nub, I don't really know where it came from, but it ended up being the perfect size. So I put it in there and I was like, oh, well, just, you know, put a little bit of extra compression and I'll get, 10 feet. Well, I did that, and then I tried to fire the stock darts, and it was shooting more like 5. It was really bad. So I was like, well, alright, let's try to go a little further. So I ended up adding some springs. Now, these springs that you see here, there's actually 3 of them, and I got them out of this little pack of Home Depot springs that I have. They're just like assorted springs, and they're springs that I looked at and never thought I'd ever use, but they ended up being the exact perfect size to slip over the plunger rod. So then I went, I screwed it all back together, and I tried to, oops, now I'm gonna have to refine the catch. But anyway, I screwed it back together, and I went and I fired it. Now it's shooting like 30 feet. So it's obviously gone way past what the Awfuls round was meant for. But I'm going to go ahead and take some brass. I also ended up drilling out this little nub. I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna go and put some brass in it and see what I can get with like real darts. So I'm gonna go and I gotta go find like a pair of pliers so I can change the bits on my Dremel. I'm gonna Dremel off a piece of brass and I'll come back to that. Alright, so I went ahead and put this stub of brass in. This is about 3 inches of 17/32 brass. I gooped it in. The goop's still not quite dry, so I'm trying not to mess with it too much, but it's in there. I also took a drill bit and enlarged the hole just a little bit. I'm trying to think. I can't go get my drill, but it's a larger drill bit. In fact, you know what? I can check right now. I used a 1/4 inch drill bit, so that's what I used to enlarge the hole. I used a 7/32 bit first, just to make sure the hole stayed center. So yeah, it's a little bit larger, and hopefully it'll let it push a little bit more air through a little bit faster. So there's a little bit of crap that got on the plunger head, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and re-grease it and then put it back in. Then what I'm probably gonna do, and I did this while I was testing different spring combos a little bit earlier in the barrel, is I'm gonna wrap this in a little bit of E-tape just for a little bit extra adhesion. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'm gonna put it back together. One last thing, that trigger spring, I have no idea where that went, so I replaced it with just something small. Kind of looks like this. Obviously, if you open it right, you shouldn't lose your trigger spring, but just keep that in mind that it might come flying out at you. Alright, so here is the finished product, the modified foam shooter. It's, I don't know, it's a fun blaster. It was an interesting thing to mod. I'm gonna go ahead and fire a whistler. I got 2 whistlers, a tagger, and then finally a Stefan. It's shooting about 30 feet, which, I don't know, it'd be really nice to get it to hit that like 15 for the awfuls round, but once you go past that, it's kind of hard to stop. It fires very well for what it is. Oops. Then the last thing I'm going to fire is the Stefan. I will show you that it does vacuum load. So the seal is very good. It's the biggest issue that's preventing this blaster from shooting like 50 feet, maybe 60 feet, because I think it has the plunger space to do it, but the biggest issue is just finding springs that size to put in it, because the plunger tube is so small that like the size of spring that you can use is very limited. I even tried like the Busby springs and they just wouldn't fit. So if you could find like the perfect spring to put in here, I think you could get like 50 or 60 feet out of it. But all in all, I used the stock spring plus like some random springs from the Home Depot box that I thought I would never use, and I got 30 feet out of it. And it was a simple mod to do, very quick. So, I don't know. It's a fun blaster. It's very small, easy to just stick in a pocket or whatever. So, you know, I'm not disappointed at all with it, I guess is the best way to describe it. And it definitely outperformed what I expected for something like this that you buy for $2 at the dollar store. So anyway, that's the mod guide for the foam shooter. Thanks for watching.